Alright, let's go. More Highlander. Again, Abzan combos versus Naya, and what can I say? Let's run to game 2, basically. Because while the Zodex hasn't really changed from the last time I brought to you this matchup, the Abzan combos been evolving and tuning up and shifting and so forth. Okay, the Zoo takes the free Multi 7, which cannot be really considered good news because he's not really going down a card just yet, and he's improving his hand nevertheless. Well, maybe not exactly improving, but trying to improve. Don't really remember who's on the play here. We don't always do it like who lost previous game, but rather take turns when it's not an actual match in a tournament, but instead it's just play testing. One kid at home is apparently trying to provoke me to give them some more food, but they've been eating properly. Right, here we are about to start. That's 3-7. He's okay with that. Green white fetch, okay, so he's on the play. Crack it up. We haven't changed the left totals yet because, well, now we're gonna change them. It's from the last game. I think I won. I lost that in a pretty unexciting fashion. Here's Mr. Reinforcer, because we're still like testing some cards, so that Rainforest is the proxy as far as I know. He started off with a Curd Ape, which is probably pretty good, but for instance against decks like Blue Black Reanimator that I get to play against yesterday, while this recording was done, maybe even like a couple of weeks ago or something like that. So yeah, against Reanimator, the Curd Ape is actually not that amazing, and what I think is a pretty big drawback of his build is that he doesn't really have all that much of burn or haste creatures or planeswalkers, so yeah. He has some disruption, but I think he could run more. So I thought first that I would fetch up Temple Garden, but nope, I fetched up Overgrown Tomb, doing it on my turn just to save time, because there's a lot of shuffling involved in these formats. And yeah, definitely a shock lens, just because I would have done that anyway, no one drop or whatever. Now that's a deal breaker. Tyler on turn 2 could actually get him a push, and maybe not so much against me, but against most of other decks in the format, this is actually a pretty big deal, because it actually stops a lot of control decks or combo decks. It's like good one drop into Talia that's just ridiculous, even for example in modern, let's say, and might be actually well, most of the time is good enough for Legacy as well, like from Mono White Death and Texas, for instance. So my response was just a turn to Ballista, which at least deals with Talia, but there is a chance that I should have well, in the vacuum I should actually just use it straight away to kill Talia, just because that if I didn't know the build of my opponent, then he might have like Blossom in defense or things like that, or some pump spell, or some protection, whatever. He didn't have land number 3, he had Fauna Shaman though instead, which is still pretty good value. I'm cracking the fetch, playing Relier because he used up the fetch, so it triggered Revolt, so I kind of get to ramp myself up. The only other target apart from 2 fetches in the grave was Ballista, which makes no sense to return back into play directly. Unless I would want, like, I don't know, some specific triggers. I'm actually fine to trade in, I think, the Relier here. Unless I had something like Eldritch Evolution in my hand. So let's see what we got here. Okay. Did he pitch a creature actually? He Castle Online pitched Sylvan Safekeeper, I think, which is a big star in his deck actually, to get a Dry Arbor. Yeah, that's a thing, because I do run Fauna Shaman in my deck, and because of fetches and stuff, I think I should be running Dry Arbor. Gonna be pretty important. I think I lost one game to Reanimator when I had a turn 1 Death Ride, but he had a Liliana on the play, so yeah. And I didn't want to tap out to cast more creatures because I wanted to keep mana up, because you never know, on 3 he can loot and bring something back. It's kinda scary to tap out against those decks. Doesn't seem like I had much going on, just more lands and added South Eric's Daughter to the board, which combos quite nicely with a lot of things. Especially with Red Cap and Revelark, for instance. But yeah, Witness and so forth. Just attacked with the line and passed, so maybe he just gonna try to catch me when I crack the fetch and then fetch up and cast even Mind Sensor, for instance. That could be a thing on his mind. I'm at 14, but it's not really doing a whole lot, but he can, essentially. See, he has a path in hand actually, so he could path Deathrite or anything scary that comes my way. I know, actually, okay, he may be had, I know, probably when he discarded Safekeeper he fetched Mind Sensor. Maybe he just naturally drew it. That's also a thing. I think I'm mistaken to path for Kitchen Things in his hand, so I'm not gonna be able to really beat down him this game. Okay, here's a company that right now is actually not in my deck, just because you do want to run a lot of tutors, and those are spells, and that messes up your math. Just because of how inconsistent it is, it's just not worth the hustle. You're much better off like run extra tutor, especially in such a crazy singleton format. So company actually hits few things, and literally it hits the Kitchen Things and the Devoted Druid, so I'm not too far off of various combos. Okay, he discarded the 2-drop that destroys an enchantment when it enters. Fetching up what? Okay, got a nose. Okay, so that messes up with the kitchen things plan. But then if I manage to find Vizier, that doesn't help him, but then I would still need some kind of like tutor, some card draw to get going. So what? Yeah, he may land this goose, but what does it do exactly? Still wearing my headset here. Well, it's wireless. I'm always afraid to lose it. Don't need stupid stuff. Cause always trying to find some small things around the place. Alright. So what is it that I'm trying to do here? I get an extra mana with Death Right for what exactly? Okay, get some life end of turn, I guess. I suppose. Okay, apparently I'm also a bit having like this restless shuffling syndrome. Not to a crazy extent, and not at a crazy speed, but still. Yeah, Lomline is a 2-3. And because he has ooze, so I don't have good blocks. I guess that was his logic when he searched up the ooze, because then I can't really block that well. It wasn't perhaps so much about preventing me from comboing. Yeah, the colors are pretty bright on this one, but I wanted you to be able to actually somewhat recognize the cards and not rely on my commentary. Okay, I'm making for the ooze. I'm gonna lose a bit of life in here, but the fight's gonna keep me afloat more or less. But I do need to find removal for Fauna Shaman as well. Not exactly sure. Perhaps I should have gone for Fauna, because he would get to use it once again, for instance. I don't know, but there is nothing really combo-y in his deck. It's just some value grizzly bears, so perhaps it's not that bad. But this way, I can at least maybe start gaining some life with my own death, right? And I could have actually targeted the same stuff that he targeted with the ooze in response, like at least the last one. I don't know why I didn't. Okay, trying to push for some damage here. I'm at 8. I'm not exactly dead on his attack, because I can gain at least 2 with the death right. Okay, right. I suppose I just wanted to kind of like preserve my left auto. Okay, we rewind it a bit, so the things did not attack. Now it's not threatened by the ooze, at least. I suppose I just wanted to buy myself a bit more time in here. He's just thinking, I suppose, not whether to use the shaman now, but what to fetch up. He's played the deck quite a bit, so he probably knows what's in there. Okay, discards his own kitchen things that we actually knew about. Now it's a question like what he takes. Perhaps if I actually attacked with my own kitchen things, maybe he wouldn't have cycled it now. Gets the stupid conspiracy guide of 4 mana that exiles something and makes him a monarch and makes him draw extra cards. Yeah, that's a pretty good choice. Since I haven't been doing a whole lot, and getting rid of my own things in here would be a pretty good deal. That might force him to be a bit more defensive though, so that I don't take back the monarch from him. Monarch status. Not exactly take back, but take away. Right, don't forget he has a Dried Arbor in there, so he actually has a bit more power than it seems. Key. Force for the guy tapping Dried Arbor so that he can still keep up green for fauna. I believe he's gonna target things. So yeah, it's hidden now. It's exiled. I don't have much on the ground. He can always just keep Bloom Shaman, just attack for 2 with the Mind Sensor. And that's more or less enough. Yeah, I'm just gonna gain some life in the meantime. He get rid of his own things. Yeah, he drew an extra cards from the Monarch token thingy, and I've been drawing pretty dry. So maybe for situations like this I should put back the Bellower, the 6 green drop that fetches up a green creature with cost 3 or less into play. Wouldn't have exactly helped here. Blood Artist is sort of good, but it doesn't let me, deal combat damage, so it doesn't really count, because I need combat damage to get through. Perhaps I had the Blood Artist in my hand last turn. That's why I guess perhaps I was reading the card. I mean that 4 mana creature of his and the token. Okay, discards Alesha. I just still don't understand why it's in his deck. I think it's kinda mediocre. It's pretty good as a commander. And that build of his Alesha is actually quite interesting, but I think it's a bit underwhelming for Highlander. He could have a lot of pretty good options here, even in his pretty narrow build, which could have a lot more of interesting cards. For instance, Kikijiki and Restoration Angel, to name a few. Or like Thunder Mohelkai. But no, he wants to keep his mana curve low. Actually, I believe pretty much stopping at 4 mana. Okay, gets the Pinger. It's not bad. It's like allows him like to in a turn ping away Blood Artist and then start actually doing other things after that, beyond attacking with the Mind Sensor. So yeah, it's not bad. think in his hand he has that goblin with the, not battalion, but whatever the keyword ability, then gives his team trample and first strike, I think. Yeah, attacked with the bird, played the pinger. I'm at 6. Well, actually, basically staying on the same life total, thanks to Death Right, because he's all the time discarding stuff with the shaman, so I always get some food for the shaman, for my shaman. Yeah, if I would have had something like Phone Shaman of my own in this game, this whole stuff would have looked slightly different. Don't quite see it. It cost 4. It's perhaps Fran? What else could that be here? Since left totals didn't really change. Don't think I... Could be the... No, I think it's Fran. I think I added Loxodon Hierarch later, not that day. I was just trying to gun against mono reds of the meta, because this is just a domestic playtesting. Don't quite see what he pitched. Has a lot of weird cards in his deck. Okay, I'm at 8. He just needs more flyers to push damage through. Yeah, Stonecloaker seems like fine addition. But I would not run out of food for my diff, right? So that's not happening. And then on his turn he gets to ping away Blood Artist, so yeah, that thing's not gonna work. But essentially he will deal himself 2 damage. If only I would be able to, you know, push through and take away the Monarch token so that I get to draw extra cards. That's also how he's running away in this game and able to actually get ahead. Because I'm drawing 1 per turn, he's drawing 2 per turn. And with Fauna Shaman in play as well. So he's getting a lot of value. And I just couldn't have a board state that will technically allow me to get into combat. Yeah, I just basically excelled the card that he was targeting with the Cloaker, I think. I imagine. Well, Fran kinda clocks the board, so he doesn't have an incentive to get way too aggressive, but he's just gonna grind me out, basically. I don't know with what, but he returned back the 4 mana dude. Oh yeah, right, with the Stonecloaker last turn, right. He bounced it back into his hand. Now trying to hide away something with it. I'm thinking whether I want to proc Safi for something. So he's targeting Safi. Think I'm trying to save up the Blood Artist. In response he pings it away. I'm not sure if I should have done it in this order. He definitely sequenced it correctly. Maybe I should have procced it on Devoted Druid, but this way he was forced to tap, and yeah, should have used it on the Devoted, because I should have seen that Blarders would be dying anyway, but this way he wouldn't think of attacking with more creatures. But then again, I had the front. But then again, I'm at 5, so yeah. Perhaps it was a good play because this way he actually used it up on his turn, so that if I would have drawn or found a tutor to get Vizier, then maybe I would be able to do something. So, but it's also marginal. I needed to have a pay of cards that would actually use that infinite green mana. Now my own mind sensor that I'm not sure actually belongs to this deck, but it's just a nice utility that you can find multiple ways. Well, at least it can block like one of the flyers, I guess. I think I cast it on my turn. Don't think I should have done that, because he still has a decent amount of tutors in his deck. And now he's actually just gonna kill it with the pinger. I could go up to 7. Say, he doesn't exactly kill me, but playing Mind Sensor on my own turn does not make much sense. Did I do that in response to... Yeah, maybe I did it in response to him using Phone Shaman at the end of my turn. I have a feeling that's what happens. Okay, that's the 1/1 haste. That could give... sometimes when you have a big board, trample and first strike. Yeah, and this is pretty much enough if he alpha strikes. Yeah, I'm just getting flooded, really getting flooded in here. Just one tutor or something before he got that pinger, and then we could have done stuff. But yeah, this stresses out how important all the tutors are, really. Okay, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. More Highlander coming up soon and regularly. Bye.